Namaste, and welcome to Vedic Vidya. My name is Armstrong, Kavinda Rishi. Vedic Vidya is available exclusively on Chitty Media, English channel, on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. IST. Our topic tonight is the four Varnas: professors, protectors, producers, and providers, or the four departments of human ability. This topic is of tremendous importance for the well-being and stable functioning of any society. It's a division of responsibility into different departments of ability. The culture of India, of Bharat, pioneered this understanding for some very important reasons that are not present in Western civilization. And this is very ironic, because the culture of the Vedic civilization sees everyone as an immortal being. That's what this means. The Namaste means every living entity, but especially the humans that we're addressing, are all Atma. They're all immortal beings. And that means they have many lifetimes. And that means that they come into each life as a human with a specific set of abilities and causal relationships or karma that they created in their previous lives, cumulatively. This means that we cannot judge a person's nature or ability by the family that they take birth in, because we know that they're carrying with them hidden abilities and capabilities. This is the answer to the idea of a caste system. In fact, caste or casta is a Portuguese word that means power inherited simply by birth and without qualification. Could mean advantage. It could also mean disadvantage, supposedly inherited by being born on the wrong side of the tracks. Because Western civilization believes only in one lifetime, be they the scientists or the religionists, their limitation is that they do not see this continuity and therefore do not understand the implications of the specific abilities that each individual has acquired over many lifetimes of experience and living and acting. Just imagine that as we come into this world, we're actually continuing something and we left off in our last life at a certain point. Now, what we're coming into is a social body. Just as we're embodying inside of a social body, and a social body, just like our body, has different departments of functionality. Those departments must be ruled by the rules of order of that particular occupation. So, the term, or the four terms, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, are the Sanskrit terms for what I have named professors, protectors, producers, and providers. Metaphorically, these are considered the head, the arms and shoulders, the belly, and the legs of society. This is the way to make an orderly society. All of the necessary functions of society have a methodological approach and a defined curriculum to learn to do that particular thing. Then that ability is learned while being educated, while in the school. In this case, the Sanskrit is Guru Kula. In the school of the Guru, one of the things that they did was investigate the individual's inherent abilities and find which skill set they had brought in with them. Are they inclined to gain knowledge and be a professor? Are they inclined to practice martial arts, to be a defender and a warrior and a protector? Are they inclined to be a farmer or a producer of wealth or a manager of wealth? Or are they designed to be a provider of a service? And this is the fourth of the categories, the so-called Shudra, which has come to mean, in British era, during colonization, a lower class person. It's none of that at all. In fact, it's someone with a particular skill set. A person who gives a manicure, a person who does massage therapy, a person who cleans houses, a person who does any particular skill that they've mastered and is a necessary component of society. That is Shudra. And the next is the producer, or the Vaishya. The Vaishya is the one who's producing the goods, and they're going to be then transferred throughout the society. A good example would be a truck driver is a Shudra. And the person producing the goods, the manufacturer, is the Vaishya. The person patrolling the roads and making sure everyone is safe is a Kshatriya. And the persons who are in charge of the education of the next generation, or in any situation where complete truth-telling is absolutely necessary. These are the four departments of any healthy social body. And in India, this was perfected, partially because of knowing about rebirth, and partially because it was such a cooperative society where everyone saw each other as an Atma, an immortal being. Now this is so crucial to our understanding because the propaganda that was made during colonization was that India had a caste system. The fact of the matter is that England had a caste system and Europe had caste systems everywhere because they only believed in one lifetime first. So secondly, you were only able to have one lifetime of activity, of experience. How could you possibly bring in experience from a previous life? Not possible in a one lifetime worldview. So it is the one lifetime worldview that creates a caste system, where people are literally cast into roles and seen as the same as their role. But in the Vedic civilization, everyone is seen as an immortal being worthy of the same respect, no matter what clothing they're wearing, no matter what skin they're wearing, and no matter what occupation they're engaged in. So automatically we know then that people born in a particular family would have an opportunity to become like the occupation of the earner for that family, whoever was the wage earner. They would have an opportunity to become like that person. But in fact, that role model is just part of a process of education that extracted from them what their ability was so that they could be happy in their occupation and society could be benefited by them in their occupation for their whole lifetime. This was considered in the Vedic civilization crucial, and so it's called Varna. Those four, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, professor, protector, producer, provider, are known as the four Varnas. Every single one of us have an ability that puts us in one of those four Varnas. The next thing is that each of those Varnas had a set of rules that made sure that we were professional in our occupation. If you're a policeman, there are rules. If you're a lawyer, there are rules. If you're a judge, there are rules. But it's also true if you work in any occupation that has very specific requirements. If you're taking the waste products and bringing them to another place and then dealing with them, that also has rules. So this scientific methodology led to the next step. If those are the four Varnas, the subcategories of those are the next category. And those subcategories are more diverse. Just imagine if someone is a soldier, you would ask what kind? What are they doing? Are they in the supply chain? Are they in intelligence? Are they in combat? And so to know that, you would ask the question, what is their subcategory within the larger category? All warriors are not the same. Each is doing a different function. But there's a code of conduct that goes with all of those warriors. So the Varna is the 4 groups, then there are subcategories within those, and finally there's something called the Shreni, or the career ladder. The career ladder also comes with responsibilities. So this word caste was actually used by the British as a tool of colonization to diminish the world's understanding of the very sophisticated social structure that is the basis of the culture of India, of Bharat. When that's properly understood, we know that the person, first of all, is not their body. They're not their gender. They're not any of those externals. But then we know that from previous life actions, they've brought particular abilities into this world and experiences, and that they're going to continue, that this next life is a continuum of that, and a moving of that to another octave. So one of the choices they're going to face is choosing a particular activity, a particular Varna to act in that's compatible with their nature and their abilities. And education's responsibility is to find that. This is not present in our educational system. First of all, we do not know people as immortal beings, so we don't see this possibility. Secondly, we have a few things, aptitude tests, a few minor attempts, but we don't really understand because we haven't organized society. Our society is not organized. It's the result of colonization. Western civilization is a chaotic society based on what? Competition, not the well-being of the social body. Meditate on that. The civilizational construct for Western civilization is the same one that colonized the world. That's why corporations are only expected to make a profit. They're not asked, were they ethical in what they did? They're asked, did you make a profit? And of course they're asked, did you break any laws? But the point is that our civilization has never become properly organized. Whereas the culture of India, the Hindu Vedic Sanatana Dharma civilization had done this for thousands and thousands of years. The ritual of going to the Gurukula, to the school, was that you were examined and you were put in different behaviors to see how you performed, how happy you were, whether it was beneficial for you. All of those questions were very scientifically asked in the schooling process. And this is the missing ingredient in our civilization. We are missing the understanding of these categories, and worse, we have pointed a colonizing finger at an amazing, profound, and highly organized culture like India. And the only reason India doesn't appear this way right now is it was colonized. If we had seen it in its original form, we would see this. And by the way, all the indigenous peoples around the world had various forms of this built in. India to a very sophisticated degree, but everyone was looking to see what was the natural ability of the individual. Then, what is the code of honor or behavior that channels that ability for the benefit of society and the individual, so that they can be held accountable. Think of policemen. You can't put weapons in their hands and then not have rules of accountability for the use of those. And yet we see it all the time. This is because we do not have a Varna system. We do not have a caste system for most of our jobs. What we have is a chaos system, where there are not appropriate understandings of how to harmonize all of these principles into a well-functioning, beneficial civilization. So this is the real meaning of Varna, and caste is what the British had and still have. Born in wealthy families, get to keep the property. Did you know that an inheritance of wealth is a caste system? That's exactly what it means. It means you pass your wealth on to your children. Well, but they didn't deserve it, or they won't know what to do with it. Indeed. Well, what would you do about that? Well, in the Vedic culture, you would blend the two together. There would be some familial lineage, and there's a thing called kula, which is the name for the family lineage. And this is where it affects the whole of our way of living. 7 generations in the past, our ancestors co-contributed to who we are. And there are 7 generations in the future, and our children are the next of those. The Vedic civilization, with the Varna system of using everyone according to their true and best nature in the social body, is a system that is looking 7 generations into the future. Nowadays we call it ecology. The system of Varna in the Vedic civilization was to ensure that the social body moved through history with all of its functions done by happy persons doing the job they were intended for and were skillful with. And that process all around was called the Varna ashram civilization, a culture where the stages of human life were integrated into all the everyday functions, and then people lived harmoniously because they had a sense of, and the last word for this message is dharma. They did what they were designed to do in the social body, and that's called one's sva dharma. Dharma means the essential nature of something. And so the essential nature of this topic is that when we do not educate properly and see the many lifetime variances and add in the culture of the family, the kula, then we distort the human situation. And so this is the Vedic answer. It is not caste, so cast out caste, and now your new word is Varna. Professors, protectors, producers, and providers. Vedic Vidya means shining the light of truth. Tune in to Vedic Vidya on the Chitty Media English channel Sunday nights at 7 p.m. IST. My name is Kavinda Rishi, Jeffrey Armstrong. See you next time, and have a namaste.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.